there's been a lot of rumors, a lot of talk, a lot of discussion, and people have built this up to be at least comparable to the greatest thing that humanity will ever witness on film. Because however big the cameo is going to be for the end of WandaVision, it's literally taken on a life of its own now. Like, that's how big this rumor is.
I think we've already seen the cameo, to be honest.
You think it's Evan Peters? Like, because I don't know.
Because Olsen herself never said this cameo is the same as Luke Skywalker in the end of Mandalorian. That was the question posed to her, and she just said yes.
Oh, so I mean, to me, I honestly think that they're saying, well, it's gonna be big. To me, it's Doctor Strange. Like, that's what I'm anticipating. Like, that's the big one. It's like, oh, he's gonna show up and help and do magical stuff, and she's gonna be Scarlet Witch, and he's gonna be full on Vision, and it's gonna be that. But like, the rumors out there run the gamut from all the X-Men to Patrick Stewart to here's Fassbender, here's Logan played by Hugh Jackman. Like, it pretty much anything is out there, and it's open for people being like, no, this is what's going to happen. And I think some people are building themselves up too high, where I know you've seen it as well as I have. Unless something that big happens, they already have said the series is garbage. It's like, oh, come on, guys. Like, no.
Yeah, it's... People have got this idea in their head that she has to bring in mutants because of House of M.
Right, yep.
It's just another little mark of why House of M was the worst thing to ever happen to Scarlet Witch, number 12,036. Because it's not even her story. She's just a catalyst in that book, and then you follow Wolverine, and then no one remembers this. Doctor Doom made her do it.
Oh man.
So people being like, oh, she's a genocidal maniac. Like, no, it was retcon she was manipulated. And it's like, people tend to obviously not read what these stories are. They see places like IGN and all that tweet like, here's why it's going to be mutants because House of M. It's just like, there's more stories to Scarlet Witch and the Vision than House of M.
What?
Mm-hmm. Go... Good a piece of advice. Go on Marvel Unlimited and look at Scarlet Witch and Vision and tell me what comes up. Look what this show is clearly based on.
Yeah.
It ain't House of M. Is there winks and nods to House of M? Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be? What? Obviously, there's some influence taken from it. Are they going to bring in mutants? No.
The thing is, like, this goes back to and again, I think this is the Fox X-Men movie people that are fans of this. Remember, everybody was like, Days of Future Past is the greatest X-Men and Wolverine story. It's like, have you ever actually read Days of Future Past? It's one issue. Like, people make out Days of Future Past to be this thing that lasted 2 years and was interconnected and a giant part of Marvel Comics. It's like, dude, it was barely a full issue, and Logan's not even the central character of it. Like,
no.
What were you reading? But people take what, like you said, what IGN has said, and they're like, it's clearly House of M, and they show you the No More Mutants panel, right?
Yeah.
And that's all the comic was. Just like Days of Future Past, all the comic was apparently was Logan time traveling to the past to be with himself. It's like, dude, that was actually a kiddie story. But no,
I was going to say, that was Kitty Pryde.
Yeah, right. So it's like, where do you, like, there's almost like this Mandela effect that works with the X-Men movies for some reason. And I think people are building up too much of what they have been told and think they know, as opposed to what they're anticipating for the ending of WandaVision. Because it, like you said, sure, yes, there's House of M elements in there, that's clear, but that's not it though. Like, it's not the entire thing. Like,
Also, House of M clearly made her like a, this distraught woman that she's just Bendis ruined that character.
Bendis ruined another character. What?
I was going to say shock horror, right?
Yeah.
But hey, if it wasn't for him in those years, we wouldn't have all these movies now. So, swings and roundabouts, I suppose. But nice. I'm just annoyed at all these mutant theories because people are so gonna flip their crap at the end of this show.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like, oh, I didn't do what my head canon told me it was gonna do, so therefore it's bad. Like, shut up.
I'm gonna go on a limb. If I had to make one crazy prediction, who I think it'll be, I'm gonna just say Ryan Reynolds. I'm not saying Deadpool. I'm literally telling you Ryan Reynolds shows up. Like, that's what I'm gonna go. I don't know. Like, because I'm not believing you're getting Hugh Jackman or anything. I would love it if it was Magneto was to be brought in, and like not even as the father figure, just like here's Magneto. I'd be like, all right, but I'm not anticipating what people have built up in their heads.
Right. If you've been following my Twitter, you know what I'm about to say. All right. There's full spoilers for this show, by the way, FYI. Each commercial is an Infinity Stone, right? They all add up. You know, the toaster's clearly Vision. The watch is time. The soap was the Space Stone. What else have we had? Lagos was the Reality Stone. You know, well, that's so far. Like, if we get two more and they match up, they're clearly Infinity Stones. We know an Infinity Stone plays a part in this. We know specifically it's the Mind Stone because she's had to have remade that thing because it's in his head, or at least we see it's in his head. We've seen clips of it from her time in Hydra and experiments. My entire thing for both the questions of this topic, like who's the big bad and the cameos, is the Mind Stone and Ultron. Like we know that Stone's sentient. It has to be sentient because Ultron came from it. So there's some element of being there and some consciousness there. So if she's remade that, who's to say she's very, very well remade that wrong?
Yeah.
She doesn't know how any of this started.
Yeah.
So there's precedent there for the Mind Stone to be having some sort of influence. Also, Hexagon 6.6 stones, come on.
Yeah.
oh, look, these two commercials have sixes missing. I wonder why. Because there's 6 stones in that there.
That's 666 Mephisto!
Oh, it's a tree, it's Mephisto. God damn it. No, I don't think Mephisto's playing a part in this whatsoever. I think everything is down to that Mind Stone like, being a bit... getting in her head a little bit. I don't think she's going to be a villain. I think people saying she's going to be a villain are completely, woefully missing the point of the show and looking at it from Hayward's perspective. Where it's more of a, no, I'm going to twist everything because context is not important to this woman clearly grieving. Like, you know, the show is about grief. You know, that's the obvious thing. So what I think, and also another little interesting tidbit, James Spader was not... He's not in an episode of the recent season of The Blacklist, which was filming at around the same time of February 2020 when they were filming WandaVision. Now, could it be a coincidence? Of course it could be a coincidence. I have no clue.
If they can get Evan Peters to show up, they can get Spader to show up.
Because look, the two, they reference 2 characters from the MCU reality proper. 50% of those have shown up. And I can't see any way this show happens where it's about this character who's never had time to grieve about the losses and deal with the fact of the losses and not have one of the biggest things show up. Because Ultron represents Stark. He represents literally himself who killed... Quicksilver, her brother. It literally represents Thanos because it's come from an Infinity Stone. Ultron can literally be the catalyst that gets her over the grief of everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't even need it to be a robot. You don't need this 8-foot tall, shiny, vibranium cocktail robot walking in here. It can literally just be James Spader.
Yeah, exactly.
Give him like glowing eyes or whatever. And it also, like, if it's dealing with family, one of the biggest disservices you could do to this family tree is not do it right. Ultron is such a core part of that family tree in the comics. Like, we haven't got it proper in the MCU because of Hank Pym and Janet not being anywhere near Ultron and whole Wonder Man thing and Vision. But you could at least do it properly with what you have and the connections you have. Like, he's so closely tied, it'd be such a mistake for him not to be in there. That's my thinking of, like,
See, I could go with that because I have no like, I have none of my own theories. Like I'm just ready for it. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not expecting earth-shattering cameo or anything. But what you're saying makes a lot of sense. That could work.
It's like if Ultron's not in it and it's someone else, cool, great. As long as they do it well, I don't care. It'll be for me a mistake to not do anything with Ultron, especially when he's like right there. Like, come on, it's clearly doing something with Infinity Stones. We know Infinity Stones are tied to the multiverse. Like, just come on, he's right there.
Here's the thing, Mitch. So she's gonna say no, more mutants, and then she realizes she caused all the mutants to appear, so she rebuilds Ultron as the master mold who starts spitting out Sentinels. And they're gonna pull in Quicksilver, pulling in the Dysons, because he's gonna be vacuuming the floor with one.
I'll be honest. If you want to make Ultron master mold, I got no problem with that.
I would be okay with that.
Just don't do it here.
Yeah,
just don't do it. Just don't do it initially. Do it.
Just everything else I just said is completely stupid, but don't do that. Yeah. That sounds like some CW garbage I just sprouted really out.
It really does. Yeah, it's, I'm firmly a believer of my own crap read. I suppose I've connected a dot that I want to connect, and it's just like this makes sense in my head, but yeah, who knows? But I'm betting it's Ultron.